Okay, it is June the 7th, first day of the week, Monday, 2021. There's a lot of morning panic bounce plays, a little overwhelming, but MSRT, potential morning panic bounce play, same with NWGC. SAPX is another one. We also have MJWL, AAPT. Some of these don't have much volume. FBCD is another one. And then we have just right here BlackBerry, AMC. I do have some other stocks in the other watch lists, but these are the priorities right now. It's going to be morning panic bounce plays and just a watch on how these meme stocks do. I need to keep in mind that I can potentially short some of these. I guess for right now today I can even short AMC, not GME. For all I know, maybe when I actually try placing an order, limited means that I actually, they're actually armed shares, but I don't know. It seems like Charles Schwab tends to have these things available to short. That's where I'm at the moment. It's just going to be watching for morning panic bounce plays, ideally one that trades with decent volume. Okay, it is 9:51 a.m. and I have I've already traded now more volume than I did the entire last week, which was like 1,800, and now I had like I don't know, like a $2,200 position. I learned a big lesson here with NWGC. Should have probably have considered the overall big picture in mind. I'm only down like 50. It was only I traded a $2,200 position and I lost like 15 bucks, which is like 1%, less than 1% perhaps, but anyway, I should have taken this into mind that this thing was showing some clear topping action, so that if this thing is going to do a breakdown, if it does a morning panic, it's likely going to be a big one, and that's kind of like what happened here. This thing was at, I think it was down maybe 18% at its lowest. And anyway, should have done much better in that sense. Cutting losses on this first buy right here. This was at 932. This is when there was showing some kind of a sign that, there was some kind of reversal that could happen. Bids were holding it at the moment right here, and this wasn't bad in that I took a buy at 235 right here at 932, but the moment it cracked the day low at 230, I should have taken should have cut losses. Maybe I would have gotten executed immediately. Maybe I would have gotten executed at 224, for example. But the issue is that when you're holding on to something like this, and for example I take a sell at this 209 level, that's pretty big in terms of percentage. That right there was like an 11% loss. So in the future, if I trade morning panic bounce play like this and I start with a small $500-ish position and it doesn't work, what I have to do is I just have to cut losses, even if I don't get executed immediately, because we're on a downtrend. It's gonna probably, even if it got even if it gets as low as, like, for example 217, that would still be better in this case from where my official sell was, and that would help greatly. So I had that buy there. Should have cut losses immediately when it broke the day low. I'm going to start working on that. Just don't want to carry it around and really impact how much I can make off of this trade. So good idea in that sense. And then I had another buy at 206, 935, which was right here, right? Because right here, this was what turned out to be at the time the biggest volume candle. So I thought, okay, maybe the setup is in. We have a nice green candle. It's starting to look nice. And I took a buy at 935, which was right there, and the price was 206. So that was a pretty good entry in that it was near the bottom of this candle right here at 935, and it ultimately ended up being a little tiny stutter, right? And then I took one more buy at 202. This really sucked right here when it broke under 2, but when I saw how many people were supporting it, it just looked like this thing was going to eventually hold. Even if it broke 2 cents previously, it held back. It came back very strongly. Then my next buy, because of that price action there, was at, what was it, 202. So right here, and as you can tell, I have larger positions. I traded 20,000 shares at 205, which is like a $400 position, and then an $800 position right here, another $800 position right here, and that's what sent me in for this. but I didn't like it because I thought this thing was just going to keep downtrending when I should have really considered how the volume is definitely fading, especially at the candle I sold. I sold at 241 and that was 209, so basically made a small profit from my big buys. But because I held on to that position from 935 or 932 actually, that's what got me in trouble. That's what led me to a small loss, instead of a larger gain. And of course, it even got passed by, even got higher than where my first buy was at 240. But I just need to keep in mind the big picture, and considering what happened during this entire downtrend, I think I did alright. I just need to keep improving. I didn't sell this thing when it got towards VWAP at all, but the issue was that this thing was being a little fake. You had a green candle and then red candles, right? I just thought, alright, this might happen again in my downtrend, and that would really suck if it just cracks 2 cents again for real, right? And I have that larger than average position, but I could have definitely have continued holding, considering the idea that even though it was a red candle, it was still volume was just still much lower. It was starting to show that it was fading. I thought about buying again, but I didn't want to, even though it looked like it could have worked. There was a bit of resistance at that VWAP level, and I've seen some of these morning panic bounce plays reject that VWAP level too, and I didn't want to be stuck in that. I was thinking maybe give or take worst case scenario. But hey, this one worked out because it, after some struggling, it did break past VWAP, and after it did that, it did another big massive candle. I probably would have sold into this candle just because it seems very large and massive. And looks like we're just having this weird price action, lots of volatility in that, the price is moving a lot, but the volume definitely faded, especially, I guess you can say from here, right, in this candle. Right from here, it looks like the volume is just started fading, right? So I could have held on to it longer, seeing that the volume is fading, but I didn't take that into consideration. I was just looking at the chart pattern and the time in sales. Level 2, should have paid attention to the volume. That could have helped me, sell this for a much bigger profit. But ultimately, I just need to learn that, with my initial buy, if this thing is going to crack the day low, I just need to cut losses quickly. I don't regret holding through this because, it was very brief where it broke under 2 cents, and then it showed that it could hold to with a lot of dip buyers, so that was good. And yeah, the volume just totally faded from there. Should have remembered how strong the wall of resistance was up here, that it could eventually lead this to be a nice downtrend. And that's exactly what happened. Sure, it was choppy, like it had a fake out, a bigger fake out here, and then it broke the level here, but in that sense I could have traded a little better just holding on to it longer because the volume is fading, not because hindsight 2020, oh I should have held longer. No, because the volume was totally fading, right? And we did break that VWAP level eventually. So yeah, that's the trade here. MJWL just didn't trade with much volume, didn't really do anything nice. AAPT is horrible. I'll be looking at these other meme stocks, BB and AMC. MSRT, nothing, it's still uptrending. SAPX, yeah, this one is downtrending now, but it was uptrending in the beginning. I don't know, this one trades kind of sketchy. I don't like the volume. I'll be looking at AMC, BB right now. I learned a lot, even if it's just in my mind was a small position. It really matters. I need to just cut that one as soon as I can, even if there's some serious slippage. In this case I sold at 209. That was a lot of room for me to have been able to sell, and that would have helped out greatly. Again, the volume was fading, should have held in that sense and not have been that scared, even though I went through a lot there. Gotta give myself some credit, but just a lot that can be learned from. I like with TD Immediate Trade, you can rewatch price action. It's not perfect. I'll definitely be rewatching this morning panic bounce play when that's available. But for right now, yeah, I'll be looking for more setups, but probably with the listed stocks, not OTCs at the moment. Alright, it is 10:41 a.m. I'll be honest, I actually took a bit of a mental break. I went ahead and worked on the screenshots, getting the trade uploaded to Profitly, and I don't know why it shows 12 right here. It should be 15:01. Maybe it's some accounting thing with Charles Schwab. I'm not sure, but yeah, just definitely need to keep working on cutting losses quickly if the setup breaks into a new low, like very how do you say it? Very, I guess, impressively. Just if it shows that it's going to crack that level and make a new low, I might as well cut losses quickly, even if there's slippage, because it's going to save me a lot. And yeah, and just don't forget to realize where you are in the chart. In this case, right, volume was totally fading in this candle right here. Totally fading. It was like trading half of it, right? And it didn't get to a higher level until we just got here where we broke the VWAP. In that case, it was a good thing. So yeah, that's pretty impressive in that sense. I mean, for example, had I have not have had that issue where I held on to that first position, my average would have been like perhaps 204, 405, something like that. That would have been $45 a profit, and that was like with a sell that wasn't even that good, because I could have sold higher. And had I have sold higher, like maybe it broke past VWAP and then it got a little higher, maybe at, let's just say 226 right here. Had I have sold at 6, that would have been a very impressive $200 profit. So definitely, there was definitely a lot of room in this stock to make money. I just need to trade it better. Two things again: just work on my entry, if my entry is there, even if it's a small in position size. If it's a small position size, because I'm gonna have to scale into the ultimate size. Still, it's better to cut that trade, cut that first entry very quickly. There's gonna be slippage probably, but it's gonna save me from a lot of potential profits, like less profit potential. And then just to not forget, even if it looks like crap and I went through like Hurricane Katrina or whatever, you just have to look at the overall setup, and the overall setup showed plenty of room to uptrend because of the fact that the volume again was fading. I don't want to make this a drinking game for every time I say the volume is fading, but that was clearly the case here. It did a double, not even a double bottom, it was a higher low, but I didn't want to trade again, just wanted to take a mental break and work on other things. And now I put up a lower low, so who knows what this one can do. Maybe it's gonna crack 2 pennies officially and make another nice downtrend, but I won't consider it that much because it is later in the day. NJWL is looking like it's fading too, but I mean, ideally it cracks that 4 cent level. AAPT looks like nothing. BB, AMC, they're both uptrending, but I'm not just gonna randomly trade something that's putting up higher lows. Still impressive, It's just gonna be a watch. SAPX. Sure, I had a downtrend, but it's not trading with much volume. It wasn't at the morning either. That's where I'm at the moment. I don't mind if I don't trade anything else today. It's good to just take a mental break and take in all that I, went through, and just learn from it and really improve myself from there on forward. Okay, it is 11:07 a.m. I tried shorting. Crap, now I see what my mistake was. I tried shorting UONE at 560. This is like a VWAP rejection, so I broke VWAP, try to get past it, rejects it. Try to short I'm an idiot. I didn't even know. I had a wrong stock. The only thing I had right was the 60 cents. I didn't have it right. Should have had it right here. That's why I didn't get executed. That was alright. That's good news and bad news. Good news because I said, okay, UONE says that there's limited shares available, and then I tried shorting just 10 shares, right? So just a $500 position. Yeah, I totally had my math wrong. Alright, so yeah, I just messed up by not having the ticker right there in the order box. Ideally, I'd be short right now at 1560. You know, hoping that this 1525 level can crack and, you know, have a nice downtrend. I messed up. I just had the wrong ticker there. In theory, I could be short. I guess that's a good thing because then that means that maybe there are shares of UNE available. Because I thought, okay, I tried shorting just 10 shares, even though it says limited. There weren't shares available. That'd be unfortunate because then that would mean that maybe a lot of these are just not available to short. But in this case, it's still a possibility then that you know, Schwab just has these shares available to short. Maybe if it reperks to 560 again, 1560, I mean, I'll consider shorting again. I was interested in doing a $500 position, so, you know, maybe 50 shares. Although that's kind of like an iffy, that's not really a block size. You know, if I'm not going to trade block size, it might as well be a short. I mean, a small position size, but yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I'll be thinking maybe I'll still consider a short. It is holding this 1530 level, but if we get like a spike to the 1560s, maybe I'll consider it. Now it might not look so good because it held, but if it puts up a higher, a lower high, that might be interesting. So nothing right now, but I'll keep looking. Alright, 11:19 a.m. I considered a short in the 1545 level, give or take. Sure, I wasn't able to get a short here in the 560 level, but this is a shoulder, head, shoulder, so we have a head and shoulders possibility. We have the top of the shoulder and VWAP to risk off of, and this 1590 level too, so that could be like a whole lot of resistance because this is the top of the shoulder here. You know, this shoulder right here, we have VWAP, we have that 1590 level, just a lot of resistance. So this is some of the sketchiest price action I've seen recently. Now maybe this is normal because it's a NASDAQ, but there was so much like range in these candles. It was just so sketchy. We'd have these like big green injections of volume, buying volume, and then just random little tiny dumps on the bid. It's just very strange volume. But we did have that drop here towards 15. I have to go. I have to do something, but in theory this should be a stock that I'm short and I can risk. I'd probably maybe consider risking the 1560 level, the shoulder. I don't think I would risk VWAP or the top of the shoulder or 1590, but there is that possibility there. In theory, I'd be short. Even if it doesn't work, it just looks like, just looks like it has a good, you know, risk reward. Alright, it's 1:34. I haven't been looking at the markets. I've had other things to do. I came back, and just before I went to work on one other thing, I just took a look at this and I saw this head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. I would have had to have, had I have shorted here, shoulder, head, shoulder, would have had to have cut losses when it broke the VWAP, especially that shoulder here at that 1578 level. Would have lost like $3. But I think it would have been a good trade, and that's if I would have held through all of this. Don't know what it would have been ultimately, but it just kind of scared me out. I thought about shorting right here at 1647. You know, right around this level right here, but the order was rejected because they don't allow good till cancel orders on stocks with hard to borrow securities. So my order didn't go through in that sense, although I have it now as a day order, so it would go through. Now it just kind of sketched me out. It might be stupid, but it just kind of sketched me out. You know, if I were to have been short, I would have risked. I guess it wasn't even a perfect head and shoulders looking now because this is like at the level right here. But it would just be a risk off the day high, which was at 1672 level. So maybe a short at 1647. And you know, if it goes to the 1670 level, that's 20 cents. I lose $2. It's just a tiny position, just because, you know, I just haven't done this in a while, like shorting stocks, especially, you know, like listed stocks. This is a NASDAQ, so In theory, I could be short, although maybe I'd consider getting out of the position because this isn't even a clean head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. So, yeah, that's the idea right now. This thing could make a nice breakout. If it breaks the day high, I might even consider buying this. But right now, nothing I really want to trade. I haven't really looked at the others. NWGC looks like it faded nicely. NJWL looks like it had a nice spike towards the end of the day. This isn't really, that setup where I thought about last week, where if it does like a very choppy or imperfect morning panic, and it doesn't like really get past VWAP and it puts up higher lows and it doesn't run. This isn't the case because it kind of broke the level here. FBCD is looking sketchy, just nope. SAPX, nothing. MSRT, uptrending, nothing. BB is doing nice. Nice comeback. AMC, nice comeback too. UONE, looks like I would have had to have covered at some point. Honestly, the setup wasn't good because I thought the shoulder was lower. It clearly wasn't, and the other stocks are running, but nice. Would have had to have cut losses there. Maybe it falls off a cliff from there, but it's not a clean pattern. I got other things to do, and I'll make an update when I'm back just to see if there's anything I traded or just to see how everything went from here. This thing could still continue to run, but I don't regret my idea of wanting to short, especially here. This would have been nice in the 1560 level. Who knows when I would have covered, if I would have cut, for a small loss, or if I would have taken profits maybe here after it spiked there and it just threw me off. I don't know. I really don't know, but I'll make an update. Alright, it is 6:36. I'm just here to call it off. I haven't looked at the markets too much. I've been looking at other things. It's just going to be now just a recap, and I look forward to tomorrow. Hopefully, if we have a morning panic bounce play, I will definitely hold on to the position, even if I'm just freaking out because everything has been going horribly, right, in terms of what I'd like it to do. If the volume is fading, there's that humongous chance that this thing can continue to uptrend. I need to learn that. And again, that first position, if you get in initially and it just breaks the low, you just need to get out. So I just have to do that. There's really no other way to say it. And I think that was a great lesson, great experience, a good trade with NWGC, which is down 26% on the day. Had that morning panic bounce play right here. Got as high as 24. I was gonna say 230 something. Nope, 224, and this would have been excessive buying under the 2 break, but it worked because of the fact that it was just holding so nicely. People were immediately buying it up, which helped it. Kind of hard to see the setup now, but that was the play right there. NWGC. Just hopefully, if Lord willingly, I can get another one of these. I'll actually trade it a lot better. MSRT had this drop. I just noticed it, right? And it looks impressive, but I wanted to have done this. This is why I don't try to do a morning panic bounce play just by the name, morning panic bounce play. I don't trade one in the afternoon. Maybe if it was just straight down, and this one is pretty straight down, but I just mean just a straight down line. Maybe I'd consider it, but in these cases, I just leave it alone. I'll just wait for an inverse head and shoulders if it can do it. This one didn't do it. MJWL is trying to hold up. It had a nice uptrend. Not really too predictable, if you ask me, other than the fact that it was trending above VWAP, and this one kind of did it here earlier and it broke under. So, yeah, not an exact science. SAPX, low volume, had a spike, and that was it. FBCD did do like a morning panic bounce play, but it was really sketchy price action. But I guess a buy at 23 and a sell at 24, it wasn't that bad. But NWGC was way better. BB, I was gone. I think it was here when I considered it, or maybe I forgot where. It was definitely where I considered, not BB, UONE. This one continued the uptrend. I just wasn't really there for it. This is where I thought about shorting, but then I realized it wasn't really an exact head and shoulders. This would have been a nice buy at 16 to sell into 18. Maybe in the future when I'm there at the setup, when it's happening, I'll consider it. AMC is also nice. Up on the day, traded very nicely too. We do have extended hours open. This one was nice. But I liked UNE, even though it didn't work out here. You know, the VWAP breakdown, right? This price action. This would have been a good trade nonetheless. You know, even though it didn't work out there. So yeah, that's all I got. Just gonna call it off. It looks like there's still more room for these meme stocks to keep uptrending. I'll be interested in shorting these. Inverse head and shoulders, head and shoulders. But other than that, yeah, some great lessons. I like how I traded, even though, you know, I could have done better. I did trade a larger position size. Already traded more than last week altogether. Doesn't mean I have to keep doing that. I can take things easy, but ideally I need to keep working on these setups. I don't feel like there's too many more things that I have to improve than just that. And I feel like if I had the same trade again, I'd trade it a lot better. So that's all I got. Just a good trading day. I look forward to more of these setups. And yeah, I guess just gotta keep going at it, keep working on it.